Officer Marin Hale had served aboard the Galactic Council's diplomatic station for 3 years, and in that time, she had witnessed many peculiar things. Crystalline entities that communicated through harmonics, methane-breathing traders who conducted business in sealed environment suits. Even the Karvathi, whose multiple limbs moved in unsettling synchronization, but nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared her for the sight currently unfolding in Corridor 7 Delta. The human was walking with that characteristic casual gait their species was known for: unhurried, efficient, conserving energy in a way that spoke of evolutionary persistence hunting. Behind him, in a perfectly straight line, marched 17 Crithian cubs. Each one placed their 3 clawed feet exactly where the human had stepped, creating a rhythmic pattern of tiny footfalls that echoed through the metallic corridor like rainfall on stone. Marin's comm device chirped. "Hale, this is Command. We're getting reports of unauthorized movement in your sector. Multiple life signs. Status?" She pressed her finger to the earpiece, unable to tear her eyes away from the procession. "Command, this is Hale. Situation is unclear. I have visual on 1 human and approximately 17 Crithian juveniles. They appear to be following him." "Following?" "Crithian cubs don't follow anyone. They're apex predators from birth." "Clarify." Marin watched as the human paused to examine a wall panel. Instantly, all 17 cubs stopped. The smallest one at the front, she recognized the distinctive silver marking on his crest as belonging to Cub Tyriak, from the Crithian ambassador's family, tilted his head in exact mimicry of the human's posture. "They're not just following Command, they're imitating. Every movement, every pause. It's like they're imprinted on him." Static crackled through her earpiece, followed by the voice of Commander Dresch, a Valorian whose species had been studying interspecies behavior for centuries. "Officer Hale, this is unprecedented. Crithian cubs imprint only on their clutch mothers. They're genetically programmed to follow pack hierarchy, nothing else." "How long has this been occurring?" Marin checked her datapad, scrolling through the security logs. "Security footage shows this started approximately 4 hours ago. The human," she zoomed in on his ID badge, "one Dr. James Chen, xenobiology specialist, was conducting routine observations in the Crithian habitat section. The cubs apparently left their enclosure and began following him." "Left their enclosure?" "Those barriers are rated for adult Crithians. Each cub has the strength of a fully grown Terran gorilla." "I'm aware, Commander. But they didn't break out. According to the logs, they opened the access panel. Systematically. As if they'd studied the mechanism, the human Dr. Chen had started walking again, and the line of cubs resumed their march. Tyriak, the smallest, kept perfect pace at the front, his young eyes fixed on the human's back, with an intensity that would have been terrifying if it weren't so oddly trusting. Marin decided to approach. She stepped into the corridor, keeping her movements slow and non-threatening. Crithian cubs had excellent threat assessment capabilities, and the last thing she needed was 17 miniature apex predators deciding she was hostile. "Dr. Chen?" she called out. "Sir, are you aware you're being followed?" The human turned, and for the first time, Marin saw his face. He looked exhausted, but there was a gentle amusement in his eyes. Behind him, the entire line of cubs turned in unison, their predatory gazes now fixed on her. She froze. "Officer," Dr. Chen said with a tired smile. "Yes, I'm aware. I've been trying to return them to their habitat for the past 3 hours. 3 hours? The logs show 4. The first hour I spent trying to figure out why they wouldn't leave me alone." He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture of frustration that was immediately copied by Tyriak, the cub's small claws patting at his crested head. "Every time I walk away, they follow. Every time I stop, they stop. If I sit down, they sit down. It's like having 17 very dangerous, very impressionable shadows." Marin watched as Tyriak crept forward, closing the distance between himself and the human. The cub's tail, which would one day be powerful enough to shatter steel, was wagging. Actually wagging. Dr. Chen, Crithian cubs, don't wag their tails. That's a submissive gesture. They're born apex predators. They don't submit to anyone except their clutch mothers, and even then, only until they reach adolescence. The human looked down at Tyriek, who had now pressed himself against Dr. Chen's leg, making a sound that could only be described as purring. A Crithian. Purring. I don't think anyone told them that, Dr. Chen said softly. He crouched down, and Tyriek immediately climbed onto his knee, followed by two more cubs who couldn't resist the proximity to their apparent new pack leader. I was just doing my observations, talking to them about their developmental patterns. I might have narrated what I was doing. Out loud. In a friendly tone. You talk to them. I talk to all my research subjects. It's a habit from Earth. We had a saying. You catch more flies with honey than vinegar. I've found it works across species. Marin's earpiece crackled. Officer Hale, the Crithian ambassador, is on her way. She's demanding to know why her cubs have been allowed to roam the station unsupervised. Before Marin could respond, the corridor filled with the heavy footfalls of an adult Crithian. Ambassador Jera rounded the corner, her massive form bristling with protective fury. Her scales, each one the size of Marin's hand, rattled with agitation, a sound that typically preceded violence. But then she saw the scene. Her cubs, all 17 of them, gathered around the small human. Not attacking, not hunting, following, learning, trusting. Tyriek looked up at his mother, then back at Dr. Chen, then made a decision that would be recorded in xenobiological journals for decades. He took the human's hand in his claws, gentle, careful not to scratch, and chirped, a sound Crithian cubs only made to their mothers. The ambassador's scales stopped rattling. She approached slowly, her enormous head lowering to observe her smallest cub. When she spoke, her voice carried the harmonic undertones of profound surprise. In 3,000 years of recorded history, no Crithian has ever imprinted on another species. Our young are taught that all others are either prey or rivals. She looked at Dr. Chen with what might have been respect. What did you do, human? Dr. Chen shrugged, looking genuinely confused. I just was kind to them. I talked to them like they mattered. Like they were people, not just animals. Marin filed her report that night with a single line that would become famous. The guards reported tiny footsteps everywhere. Investigation revealed 17 Crithian cubs had imprinted on human xenobiologist. Reason. He was nice to them. Sometimes, she reflected, the most powerful thing in the universe wasn't strength or technology. Sometimes it was just kindness, offered freely to those who had never experienced it before, and sometimes that was enough to change everything.